welcome to Michelle Sews again. I'm Michelle. Today I'm doing hashtag Friday Sews. So I've been doing this for, I don't know, maybe a month now and having a lot of fun with it. And I look forward to watching everybody else's Friday Sews. It's a fun time to get to know people a little bit more than just, in their regular videos. So I'll talk a little bit. It's going to be mixed up, a little bit about sewing stuff, a little bit about life stuff this week. Okay, so first off, I wanted to say thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. I'm not like focused on the numbers at all because this is a hobby for me, but it's fun to see the numbers go up and it's fun to see the interaction going on. I really enjoy the interaction in the comments more than anything. But I get a monthly email that tells me what my stats were for the previous month. And, I basically grew my channel by 30% last month, which I thought was pretty amazing for 1 month. So thank you so much to those of you that have newly subscribed, and thank you so much to those of you that have been watching for a while. I very much appreciate it and love it when you guys comment and interact with me in the comments below. So today is my dad's birthday. He would have been 76. It's his first birthday where he's not with us. If I hadn't already said, my dad developed Alzheimer's 8-9 years ago now, somewhere in that neighborhood. And the first 5 years were a very slow progression. And then after that, it just went really fast. So it was about 1.5 years before he passed that it was obvious that he didn't know who most of us were anymore. And so we've missed him for a lot longer than he's been gone. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, it's just sad today being his birthday, and he would have been 76, and he was such an amazing human being that it makes me sad that he was taken from us so early, because it's been, even though he only passed in October, it's been years since he was gone. So with that, I did get some of his shirts that from when we were cleaning out his stuff. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have already seen that I made a beach hat out of his shirt, out of 3 of his shirts. I was really bouncing a lot of different ideas back and forth on what I wanted to do with his shirts, because I didn't really want to make a garment just because my size fluctuates so much. I wanted to make something that would stand the test of time. And I thought about an apron. I know a lot of people mentioned pillows. And then I just had an epiphany one day. I saw a pattern for a sun hat or a beach hat or a garden hat, whatever you want to call it. And now that we're living here in South Florida, I was like, a beach hat would be great. And even if we don't stay near the beach in the future, the hat came out really cute. I'll wear it, if I ever, have a house in the country and I do a little gardening, like, I'm gonna wear the hat again. So I'll post a picture up here of me wearing it and put some notes in the description box of where I got the pattern. I bought it off Etsy. And it was a pretty straightforward pattern. Some of the angles got a little awkward, but it wasn't difficult. Like the instructions were easy to follow. It was just the putting it together, just because of the way it bends, was a little awkward, but not difficult, if that makes sense. All right, so then basically my next topic is, what if I made this week? And I just mentioned it. That's the only thing I've made all week. It's been a busy week with work and stuff, and I just haven't had the energy, I guess, to sew, not anything near what I was doing the week before. So I made the hat. One thing I didn't call out is, so my dad, when he had shirts, he had to have a pocket, whether it was a chest pocket, whether it was a woven shirt or a knit shirt or even a, you know, a t-shirt. He had to have a pocket because he liked to put his notebook and his pen. And this was even as long as I've known him. So this had nothing to do with the beginning of his Alzheimer's. He's always had a notebook and a pen to write down things that he had to do and notes that he wanted to take. And so he always had to have that pocket. So when I was cutting up his shirts, it actually ended up being by accident, but I thought it was perfect that there was one piece of fabric that the only way I could make it fit was to use a piece with a pocket. So on the brim of the hat, it's not a usable pocket because in the pattern, you sew rings all the way up the brim. So the pocket is sewn over, but I know the pocket is there, which makes the hat even that much more special because that was my dad. He had to have a pocket. So yeah, that's basically all I've made this week. I have a lot of scrappy pieces that aren't big enough for any of the hat project, but I was thinking, I've been talking to my sister about making a dress for her, and I know which pattern I'm gonna make, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I was thinking that I would take the pieces of the different shirts that I have left and make a piece of fabric out of those by patching them together. And I thought that would be a great way, a great thing to do for my sister and put maybe on the shoulders of the dress that I'm gonna make her, and then do like a different like solid fabric for the skirt. And I think that'll, I mean, she'll love it. And it's in her favorite colors are blue, and the shirt colors are all in blue. So I think she'll really love it. And she's coming to visit me in July with her son who just turned 18, which blows my mind. So I'll give it to her then, and I'll be happy to make her cry. All right, so what else have I been up to this week? If you don't already know, I am not a fan of piecing together PDF patterns. However, I do like to buy them. I have more PDF patterns than I have printed Big Four patterns. Just because I like the styling, I think that the way they present the patterns just make them more appealing to me. Plus I like to support small businesses. So anyway, I did send off some patterns to PDF Plotting. That's the company that I use to print mine, because they are super fast. I submitted this order Wednesday night before I went to bed. The next morning when I woke up, I had an email that they had already shipped, and this morning they came. So from Wednesday to Wednesday to Friday, here they are. So I have the patterns that I want to sew all weekend, and so I'm excited about that. So I got 11 PDF patterns sent to the printer. So I have, not that I didn't already have plenty to work with, but there are a couple in there that I'm super excited. And I'm gonna ask for your input on which of 3 I should do next. Okay, so then I bought more fabric, as if the last haul wasn't enough. I don't know if there's anything to this or not, but because I've been reeling in my eating and eating healthier and not binging on things that aren't really good for me, I think maybe I've transferred my desire for, I don't know, fulfilling whatever that fulfilled into fabric. So I did buy a lot more fabric. I bought from, let's see, I'm not gonna tell you about, I'll tell you who I bought from and how many pieces I bought from each. So I bought from Fabric Wholesale Direct, which is an eBay seller, and I bought 8 pieces. Most of these I bought 2 yards. There was one where I bought 3 yards, but most of them I stuck with 2. From Fabric Mart, that's the only one on this list that I have bought from before. I bought 4 more pieces. I bought from Girl Charlie for the first time, and I bought 4 pieces. I bought from Vogue Fabrics, which I had never heard of, and I can't remember how I learned about them. I don't know if it showed up it must have shown up in my Instagram, or I can't even begin to tell you. But I bought 3 pieces from Vogue Fabrics. I bought 1 piece from Amazon, and this is actually a repurchase. And this is, oh, actually, I got 3 yards. I got 2 pieces that are 3 yards in my haul. So this one was a 3-yard purchase, and it's a fabric that I fell in love with the first time I saw it, and I made something with it when I first started sewing that I wasn't really happy with, and it was part of, I donated a ton, like probably 2/3 of my closet got donated before we moved from Philly to Miami, and quite a few of my initial me makes were part of that donation, just because I wasn't happy with how they came out. I wasn't happy with the way they fit me, if they fit me. These pants that I made, it was the Morgan culottes. That's a cute pattern. It's just a basic pant, like pajama style bottom. I made with this fabric, and they didn't fit. And I don't know, I didn't love the draping on them, so they were part of my donation. But I still love the fabric, and I didn't have enough left over to do anything, like any garments with. And I'm pretty sure I know what I'm gonna make with them, with this fabric, but I'll show it to you in the haul. And then the last piece that I got was from my Thread Crate subscription box, which it's 3 yards of a rayon challis. Absolutely gorgeous. She lets you pick different themes. So I can't remember what they all are. I think there's a neutral, there's maybe a soft and classic. I don't know, I could be making that up, but the one that I pick is big and bold. And so the fabric that she chose for my box is like perfect for me. The colorways, it's got pinks and reds and oranges and greens, and it's this like brush stroke floral. It's absolutely beautiful on a white background. And I got 3 yards. It's actually a little over 3 yards, but it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited to make something with that. Let's see. All right, so that's it for my fabric information. And then, so I talked about the PDF patterns that I sent to PDF Plotting. There are 3 patterns that I'm itching to make that are like top priority for me in my next few makes. I want to make another York pinafore. I've actually been wearing mine, and it's so comfortable. The sizing fits me just the way I like things to fit. I didn't think I'd like wearing it because I don't like showing my legs, but now that I have a little bit of color on my legs, it's not as bad. Plus it's, you know, here in South Florida, it can get muggy. So I've got to like get used to not wearing jeans every day because I'll be miserable if I do. So I want to make another York pinafore because that's just like perfect. And then I have 2 new patterns that are part of the patterns that I just got from PDF Plotting. One is the Caladium jumpsuit, and the designer is, I could be saying this wrong, Karamia. And I saw this on Instagram from an IGer. Her tag is So Many Flowers, SEW, So Many Flowers, very cute. And her jumper was, it was stunning. I'm so obsessed with that fabric. I can't find that fabric anywhere, but just the idea of that big, bold print on that jumper is like, I'm into it. So that's one that I want to make. The other one that I want to make is the Sherazade dress from I Am Patterns. It's just a cute, like super comfortable looking dress. And this is the one, I'm going to make one for me and I'm going to make one for my sister. So that's where I was saying that, and obviously I'm going to pop pictures up here, but you can see that the shoulder pieces are smaller, and then the skirt piece starts like right under the bust. I think I have enough scraps to make at least one, if not both, of the shoulders. And I think that would be really special. Even if I can only make one, I think color blocking it with one patchwork shoulder and then 2 solids, or maybe a stripe on the other shoulder and a solid on the skirt. I don't know. But those are the 3 that are high on my priority list. which one would you like to see next? Because I'll share what I make in my review of the pattern. Obviously, I've already shared my review of the York Pinafore, but I'm going to use a different kind of fabric. I'd used kind of a medium weight linen for my first one, that really fun peacock print. I'm thinking of using something maybe a little lighter weight, maybe a rayon challis or something like that. All right, and then let's see what else. Oh, I got my second COVID shot yesterday. So I took today off so that I could have the whole weekend, because when I got my first shot, my husband and I both got really sick. Like, we basically had, if I didn't already tell you, we had COVID in January, and the symptoms that we had after the shot were up there with the symptoms we had during COVID. We were just completely wiped out. Our whole bodies ached. I ran a fever of 102, like almost the whole weekend. So I took the weekend off. I took today off into the weekend, thinking that I might have the same reaction. So far, so good. My arm is sore, just like everybody's tends to be, but it's not. I don't have a big, huge welt where I got the shot this time, which I did have by this time after the last shot. And I was already feeling sick by this time with the last shot. So fingers crossed that I won't get any bad symptoms. I am tired, but I'm always tired, so who knows what that is. All right, and then my last topic for today is I bought a a MacBook Pro. And I've never had a MacBook before. I've always had PCs. And I got it because I've always wanted one. And plus, I have an iPhone. I got an iPhone for this first time last year. I've always been a Samsung girl. And because they, quite frankly, get better reviews than the iPhones do. But everybody in my family has iPhones. It seems to be easier for, some things. But what I really liked was the idea that everything on my iPhone is connected to everything on the MacBook, which means I don't have to upload these videos anymore, because I do my videos on my iPhone. So now all I have to do is open the MacBook and the video is there. So there's none of that like transfer stuff. So I kind of like that. There's editing software in the MacBook, so I'm interested to kind of play with that. So that's basically what my plans are for today, is to play with my MacBook and see what it can do. But I would love to know if any of you have switched from a PC to a MacBook, and what are your key tips for making that transition easier. I've heard through the grapevine that working with a MacBook is very different than working with a PC. So I'm curious to know, like, what are the main differences, and what was the hardest thing for you to get used to, or was it an easy assimilation? I'd love to know. That's about all I have for today's Friday Sews. I'm gonna sign off now and go play with my MacBook and watch a lot of YouTube videos to see how to use my MacBook, and maybe cut out some patterns or trace some patterns. Oh, that was the last thing I wanted to know. So I've started tracing my patterns. That was my pledge for Me Made May. I've traced out 2 so far. The next one that I make, I'm gonna have to trace out, but the tracing paper that I have is like 12 inches wide. So all of the patterns, I've had to tape 2 pieces of tracing paper side by side. Do you have, for any of you that trace, do you have any recommendations for a wider tracing paper that's not gonna break the bank, that you really enjoy using for tracing patterns? I'd love your recommendations in the comment section. Let me know what you got. That's about it for me today. I hope wherever you are, the weather is gorgeous. You're gonna get in a lot of sewing over the weekend, and I just thank you for joining me. If you have anything that you want to say about any of the things that I've talked about, please join me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Bye.